So I'll tell you what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that this Sunday's Survivor Series turns out to be one of those pay-per-views that completely sucks on paper, but turns out to be a great show in the end. I think that's the best we can hope for at this point, because I gotta tell you, I am not really looking forward to Team Who Gives a Fuck versus Team Who Gives a Shit. What's up, everybody? GoodMicWork's back. This is my first regular commentary in a couple of weeks. I did not come up and do one last week because I didn't watch the UK Raw. As a matter of fact, I didn't even read the results. As a matter of fact, I didn't even look at a picture or a video. The only thing I know about last week's Raw is what all of you told me on Facebook and Twitter. And to steal a phrase from Stone Cold Steve Austin, if you put the letter F in front of UK Raw, you've had my exact opinion of the UK Raw. And as a matter of fact, that's been my opinion of every Raw. For the last couple of months, it seems like, Jesus, these shows are getting brutal to watch. So that's what we're going to talk about here. We're going to get into Raw, we're going to get into Survivor Series, and I'll get into a few other news tidbits at the end of the commentary as well. Now, Raw, I have to say, was pretty awful. I'm not going to get into everything on the show. We're just going to gloss over it because it was a whole lot of shit. But there were also one or two surprises that actually did shock me. I'm not sure how I feel about them yet, but we'll get into a little bit of that. But basically, the Authority comes out there first. Oh, first, a little backstory, by the way, since I didn't do a commentary last week. Apparently, the latest guy that the Authority had been recruiting into their stable had been Ryback. They did a bunch of shit last week on Raw and probably on SmackDown too. I think CENA and Ryback was the main event of last week's Raw. And then Ryback ended up laying out the Authority, and then he basically aligns himself with no one. Well, that carries over into this week, and Authority comes out there, cuts a promo, how they're not going to lose. They formulated this huge mass of people. There was 10 fucking people in that ring. When you add Lana and Stephanie and Triple H and the Stooges, you got 10 fucking people out there all going against Team CENA. So it just looks like, overwhelming odds on the surface. The Authority then calls out Ryback, I guess, to make some last-ditch effort or to discourage him from joining John Cena's team, and of course they're going to tease that throughout the night. The Authority is hell-bent on making life completely miserable for any Cena team member, and what they do to start out the night is that they make Dolph Ziggler defend his Intercontinental title against Luke Harper, who is going to be, I guess, their 5th member. So Luke Harper is fresh out of being unleashed by Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. He's out on his own now. The Authority immediately recruits him into the team, and they give him an Intercontinental title shot on the fly on Monday Night Raw, and we see a title change. Now, normally, I would never complain about, some younger guy, getting an opportunity or getting a title or WWE pushing him or doing something to better his character in his career. What I don't like, however, is how these Intercontinental titles and these titles that were so prestigious at one time just change hands on the fly like that. I don't mind a surprise every now and then, but, we need to get back to the days where, if Luke Harper's going to win the Intercontinental title, then how about they do something where it just kind of kickstarts a little feud. Maybe there's a couple of matches, a couple of confrontations, you build it up to a pay-per-view match and you give Harper the title on the pay-per-view. Not in the first match of Raw, unannounced, unadvertised. That just, to me, kind of diminishes the title. Like I said, it's okay sometimes. I don't mind it sometimes. Luke Harper is also a guy, a type of character that's so crazy and so nuts, he doesn't really need a title. To me, a guy like Dolph Ziggler, when you think of the Intercontinental title and the people that have held that belt in the past, especially back in the 90s, how we all want it to be the workhorse title it used to be. And not that Luke Harper can't work in the ring, but I just prefer that title to be on guys that were just a little bit better in the ring. And Luke Harper, like I said, has such a strong character. All the creepy, goofy shit he can do, programs he can work with guys, a title is completely out of place with a guy like Luke Harper. So I'm not completely pissed about it, because the Intercontinental title is fucking nonsense and who cares if it changes hands left and right. But, to me, it was kind of unnecessary. I think Luke Harper could have been pushed and gotten over just fine without even needing the Intercontinental belt. So it just seemed a little bit pointless, but it also furthered the storyline, and it made a statement by the Authority that they're not going to take any shit, they are going to be out for blood, and they are going to be out to decimate every Team Cena member. And also after the match, they say Dolph Ziggler is apparently hurt, and now he could be out of Team Cena completely, and he lost his belt on top of it. So things are not looking good so far for Team Cena. They fuck with the Big Show and Sheamus as well, who are also on Team Cena. They come out to the ring, and this is so stupid. Are Sheamus and Big Show the two dumbest fucking people in the world? Like, they don't know that the Authority is fucking with them. Stephanie comes out first and offers the Big Show a spot in the Hall of Fame in 2015. And then, of course, he's got to do the hell no, I'm not going to do that. And then Sheamus comes out there, and then she threatens to deport Sheamus. I mean, this is fucking getting insane. And then to top it all off, she said, you know what, you guys are going to have a match tonight as well, and that match is going to be against each other, and that match starts now. So they forced Sheamus and Big Show to wrestle each other. But I'm thinking to myself, why don't these guys just have a Brian Pillman Owen Hart match? Remember that back in 1997 where they just worked this bullshit match together? Or what about what her husband, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels did on that Raw in December of the same year where they had a bullshit match for the European title? You know, just do something like that. You don't have to actually work and compete against each other. And of course, they were being completely set up. Rusev and I believe Mark Henry hit the ring and they completely destroy the Big Show and Sheamus. So now it appears that they are also out of Team Cena. And since up until this point, Cena still did not have his fifth team member, technically this means Cena is all by himself. It's 10 against 1. Whatever. Like, those 10 fucking guys stand a chance against John Cena. John Cena's gonna squash them. I'm surprised he even fucking needs a team. But let's fast forward now to the main event where now they're going to do the big contract signing. So all 26 members of Team Authority come out to the ring, and they call out John Cena after Triple H cuts a promo and all of that. John Cena comes out to the ring, and this is where I'm thinking to myself, wow, you know, this is the WWE's opportunity to really swerve the hell out of us. This is going to either suck really bad, or it could be really good. Somebody on Twitter even said, like, wouldn't it be cool if they called up Adrian Neville and Sami Zayn and Kenta and maybe somebody else to come and join Team Cena? You know, think of the way to launch those 3 guys or those 4 guys into the main roster. It's a throwaway pay-per-view anyway, right? It's on the WWE network, the same network that plays all the NXT shows. To me, it's a win-win. But after a very long and drawn-out and extremely unfunny promo by John Cena, Dolph Ziggler and The Big Show both return. Oh, and how funny was it? Did you guys catch Triple H falling asleep on the turnbuckle pad during John Cena's promo? That was fucking hilarious. I mean, come on. That's funny. That's WWE acknowledging that they know what John Cena can do sometimes on the mic, but he makes money. They got to push him anyway. It's almost their way of acknowledging it. And Triple H is actually really good at making fun of John Cena. He's done and said some pretty funny things in the past. Remember when he rapped? That was great. Don't rule out that match for WrestleMania 31 either. That could happen. But like I was saying, Dolph Ziggler and The Big Show, they return to the ring. They come back from their injuries. Sheamus surprisingly did not. Now, I guess he took the table bump, so they're actually kicking Sheamus out of the match. And who comes out to take his place? Of all people, random as fuck, Eric Rowan. Insert alternate ginger. Okay, whatever. That's something I didn't see coming. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, the Wyatt family, we all liked them when they were as a faction. There's no reason to root against these guys' singles pushes or single runs. We have to hope the best for them. But to me, it's like, wow, Rowan's going to be a babyface? I think that could be a mistake, because with that character and that gimmick with that goat mask, what they're going to wind up doing is turning this gimmick into a joke. He's only been babyface for about 45 minutes, and I can already see it going south. I'm worried about what they could do with Eric Rowan, but at the same time, hey, they're giving both of these guys pushes. Now Rowan and Harper are on opposite sides. Obviously, they could feud for the Intercontinental title once Harper gets his rematch with Ziggler out of the way. But I was a little bit surprised to see him come in as a babyface. I don't know how that's going to work out. I could be completely wrong. I mean, Rowan could be awesome as a babyface. We've barely heard this guy talk, so who knows how entertaining he could be given some good material. But the way WWE does things, the way they're so jokey and hokey and stupid and all of that, I just worry that, you know, Eric Rowan's going to be doing segments with Adam Rose and the Bunny, and I don't want to fucking see that. So now Team Cena's up to 4 guys, and of course Stephanie has to say, okay, wow, the odds have really changed, but you still only have 4 guys. You're still not a complete team. Give me a break. Can you fucking telegraph anything anymore? Can we not see this coming from 6.5 fucking miles away? Of course Ryback is going to come out there. Ryback's music hits to no pop whatsoever. Look, I'm happy Ryback's back, all right? I apologize if I said anything bad about Ryback in the past. I was surprised how many people were happy to see him back. I have nothing against Ryback, and I got to admit, I was a little bit taken back by his promo after his return match. He legitimately seemed like he was emotional and choked up and happy to be back. I love to see that desire and love and passion in any wrestler, and I wish Ryback all the best. However, I have to admit, guys, you have to be able to see this. I can't be the only one. Ryback, I'm sorry, is not over. The fans don't give a shit. Some of them might be Ryback fans. I don't necessarily dislike the guy, but overall, the reaction he generates from a crowd, he gets nothing. John Cena, at least he generates boos. At least that's something. You might not like him, but you can't say he's not over because everybody reacts to him when he comes out. On Ryback's end, you know, you don't see the fans really doing a whole lot. And when Ryback's music hit tonight and he was revealed to be the 5th member, the fans didn't give a fuck because we all saw it coming. It was not exciting. It was not groundbreaking. It wasn't a swerve at all. It was a worthless waste of 3 hours building up something that we already knew was going to happen anyway. I have not been a fan of anything I've been seeing on television in the last at least 6 weeks. I don't want to rant. I'm not a whiny fan that's pissed off at every fucking thing they see. You guys know me. I usually give the WWE the benefit of the doubt 9 times out of 10, but these shows are becoming too bad to ignore. They did nothing to increase my desire to watch this pay-per-view. It's a good thing I have the WWE Network, and I will be watching this pay-per-view live and tweeting with all of you about it, so feel free to join me, but it's a good thing that it is on the network, because otherwise I wouldn't pay 1 fucking cent for this thing. I don't care who wins. I don't even think the CENA haters care who win. Let me ask you this. Are you going to be that pissed off if CENA's team wins? At least that means the Authority is out of power and we're going into a new storyline direction. And if CENA loses, then we're right back where we've always been altogether. I'm a fan of the Authority. I've got no problem with Stephanie and Triple H being the characters they are. I like the evil heel Authority fucking with people. They're very good at it. They're very easy to hate. They draw a lot of heat on the mic. To me, I'm fine with the Authority the way it is. But if the WWE wants to spice things up for WrestleMania 31, and this is all leading to some sort of big storyline with Vince McMahon, because don't forget, he's the one that made the stipulation to begin with, then maybe you could see Team Authority lose. But at the end of the day, I don't think I really give a shit. And I'm not even going to get into predictions. I don't even want to try to wrap my head around what must be going on in the WWE's creative minds. I don't know, and I don't care. But I gotta say, this could wind up being the most predictable pay-per-view main event in history, because where's Randy Orton? They ran the angle on Raw a couple of weeks ago that turned him babyface. He's gone off to film that movie for a few weeks. He's set to come back. What better place to come back than in the Survivor Series main event and cost the Authority the victory, which throws them out of power, and Randy Orton's back as a babyface and sets up a whole new batch of fresh storylines. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, Vince McMahon coming back randomly and just announcing this backwards-ass stipulation for the Survivor Series main event, why would they go through all that trouble if they weren't going to have the stipulation come through? So I guess I'm fine either way. I'm completely indifferent on both sides, regardless of who wins or loses this match. I do not care. As far as what else we saw on Raw, the Grumpy Cat edition of Monday Night Raw, by the way. Grumpy Cat? Fucking seriously? Are you kidding me? You mean the cat from all the memes on the internet? They actually bringing that thing in to be the guest host of Raw? It's just so stupid. I think it has a Lifetime movie out there just plugging something. I hate these guest hosts. And next week, oh, does it get a lot worse. One of my least favorite motherfuckers on planet Earth, Larry the Cable Guy, is going to be hosting next week's Monday Night Raw. I truly hope that this inbred idiot is really a brilliant man underneath, and this whole thing is just a ploy to make money off of the dumbasses in this fucking country. I cannot stand his rednecky, southern, racist, homophobic type of act that he has. It's just the dumbest jokes. Cannot stand him, and I am appalled that he is going to be the fucking guest host next week on Monday Night Raw. I'm going to have to watch Monday Night Raw after the Survivor Series. It's a post-pay-per-view Raw. These are usually good, and this motherfucker's got to be on there, but no big deal. Grumpy Cat barely even showed its dumb face tonight on Monday Night Raw. 3 or 4 total minutes of the show, and hopefully Larry the Cable Guy will be the same way. Raw already seems like it's 2 hours too long as it is. It's a 3-hour show. If they want to give 5 minutes to Larry the Cable Moron to plug some stupid shit, go right ahead. But after next week, WWE, can we please just take a little bit of a break from these dumb guest hosts? Please, I'm begging you. Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt had another run-in. Bray Wyatt came out there and actually cut a very long, drawn-out promo. Bray Wyatt is a great character. He's awesome at what he does, but, you know, the WWE, I have to admit, they're going overboard on his promos. It gets to the point where you stop listening to him halfway through. His delivery is great. His voice sounds awesome. He never stutters. He never makes any missteps. He's absolutely brilliant, but I think they're getting a little bit too long, and his message is being lost in all of the fucking rambling. But I still like the feud. I still love this crazy versus crazy, and here Bray Wyatt is coming out there trying to intimidate his opponent and playing all these mind tricks with him. I don't think you can do that with a guy like Dean Ambrose. And now Ambrose is the one playing the mind games. I think this was executed poorly, but I did like the idea. Ambrose comes up on the screen, and of course it's a recording, and he's talking to Bray, and then he reveals that it's a recording at the very end and says, "I'm in the arena right now, watch your back." And I just think too much time went by until Dean Ambrose finally jumped him, and it kind of just fizzled. I think Ambrose should have attacked him when he was still on the screen and the lights were still out. I even think it would have been funny if Dean Ambrose would have kept talking after Dean Ambrose had jumped Bray Wyatt. What if he, did commentary on the brawl? What if he was like, "Oh, Bray Wyatt, you're getting your ass kicked. You better make a comeback"? I just think that would have been hysterical. But instead, you just saw Bray Wyatt kind of retreat up the ramp. You don't see that too often with Bray Wyatt, the way they did that. And Dean Ambrose kind of outsmarted him and out-mind-gamed him, in this one shot. So, we'll see how their matches at Survivor Series. This match right here, I got to tell you, it needs to save the show. I'm hoping they can do some great things. This is obviously probably just going to be the first of what I hope is at least 2 or 3 matches between these guys. And hopefully, they'll work TLC and maybe even Rumble. But But I'm hoping this initial confrontation here at Survivor Series, is really a show stealer. I think a lot of us are relying on that match to make this pay-per-view worth it. That's all I'm going to mention, I guess, about Monday Night Raw, although I do want to mention the vignette. I finally did see it this week. It was with Big E, so it looks like this faction is actually going to happen with Xavier Woods and Kofi and Big E, which is great. Big E, I got to say, I don't know what direction they're going. This seems like a kind of a preacher choir type of thing or whatever, but I've always liked Big E. He surprised me a couple of times on the mic when they've let him talk in the past, and he was very vocal tonight. He was very passionate in that vignette, and I think that a guy like Big E, they need to utilize what he's capable of on the mic. And at least I'm glad he has a character. At least I'm glad he has a storyline and a direction once these guys come in. What's the name of it going to be called? A New Day? So I guess we have to see what their look is like and what they're all about. But at least Big E, it looks like they're giving him something to do. I think that they can capitalize on how good he can potentially be on the mic. I think the guy could be a great character. So let's move on to Survivor Series now. I only have 4 matches written down. Unless I'm missing something, unless they announce something on SmackDown this week, at the last minute, this is all I have for the show. Of course, we have the main event, Team CENA versus Team Authority, which I just talked in detail about. If Team Authority loses, then Triple H and Stephanie are no longer in charge. Bray Wyatt, of course, faces Dean Ambrose. There's also a fatal 4-way tag team title match involving the Usos, the Rhodes Brothers, the Matadors, and the Miz and Damian Mizdow, as well as a WWE Divas title match, AJ Lee defending against Nikki Bella. Now, there are some rumors, some of you have asked me to comment on this, that AJ Lee could be leaving the WWE. I have no idea. I'm the wrong guy to ask if it's legit or not, but it seems to me that this is the second or third time we've heard of AJ leaving WWE rumors. So I don't know if it's true or not. If it is, I mean, she's married to CM Punk. What, are they both going to be jobless? Good for them if they can afford to do that, and good for AJ for getting her ass out of the WWE. It's got to kill CM Punk if he's really on this bad of terms, and he's really this disgusted with wrestling and doesn't want to have anything to do with pro wrestling and wants to consider himself retired and kind of fizzle out into existence, and so fans don't recognize him because he hates being famous. You got to think that he's not too thrilled that his wife is all over WWE TV every week. So maybe she's leaving for him. Maybe they just want to, enjoy their marriage. Maybe they want to have kids. Who knows? I have no idea why or if AJ Lee is actually going to leave the WWE. But if she does, I'm going to miss seeing her hot ass on TV every week. But I'm also going to wish her the best and be very happy for her and say, good, get out before the fucking WWE ruins your life. Who's to say you can't come back one day? I also refuse to believe that her husband is legitimately retired. He will be in the ring again someday. It might be years from now, but I still think he will. But hey, they're newlyweds. It's a very sticky situation. You got a girl that's heavily featured on WWE TV who is married to a guy that's, have a lot of legal battles with the WWE over some shit and the way he left and all of that. So it's kind of a weird situation all in all. It might be the best thing for AJ just to leave. And the way they've been pushing Nikki, she had the big heel turn at SummerSlam and she beat Brie in the match, and now Brie has to be her personal slave and she's this big heel diva. So having her beat AJ Lee for the title would make sense. I would probably predict that to happen, and maybe AJ Lee can have a rematch and lose that one and then head on out of the WWE for a while. Speaking of people leaving the WWE, the Great Khali is no longer with the company. I guess his contract had expired and WWE decided to not pick it up. I am completely and totally fine with this. I've got nothing against the Great Khali, but he was a completely useless roster member. He was pushed in the beginning because he was so large and he won the World Heavyweight title, and they pushed him a little bit with Undertaker and Kane and shit like that. But he became a joke in his later years. He's out there dancing every week. He wasn't taken seriously at all. He was losing all the time, and it was probably a pain in the ass just for a guy that big to travel and put up with the bullshit. So, yeah, get him out of his contract, let him go home. He's getting older. His wrestling career is pretty much done. I wouldn't mind seeing him make a TNA appearance or a Japan appearance or something like that in the future. I think that might be pretty cool. But for the most part, I believe his career is done. The new Macho Man DVD also comes out tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to have time to pick up a copy of this or not. I just might go online to Amazon or eBay and pick it up. But if I'm out and about tomorrow, maybe I'll swing by a Best Buy or a Walmart or some shit like that and try to find one. And apparently this one does include a documentary, and I'm excited for it. Macho Man Randy Savage is on GoodMicWork's top 5. He was one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I have so many memories of him. He was so fucking good in so many aspects. A great character, extremely charismatic, extremely good in the ring. I loved everything about Macho Man Randy Savage, and I will definitely pick up this DVD, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's one that I review in the very near future. Also, TNA has lined up yet another big supposed announcement for this week. I think it's going to come on Wednesday, and apparently their TV deal with Spike TV is officially over. So they will air their last episode on Spike TV, and they will either move to another network or they have re-signed their deal there and they will continue. I have no idea. I don't care. I don't want to wish anything negative on TNA. I don't have a feeling they're going to be going out of business, because that's not an announcement that it sounds like they're making. This sounds like it's going to be a good announcement. And I have a feeling they have signed some sort of a TV deal somewhere, which is good for them. They're either going to stay on Spike or they're going to move somewhere else. I don't know, but it sounds like the company, for immediate purposes, is staying alive. Speaking of other promotions other than WWE, that Jeff Jarrett promotion, what is it, Global Force Wrestling or whatever, they landed Jim Ross. It's been a few days since I read the story, so I can't remember the specific details, but is the show in Japan, is it their first show? It's going to be a pay-per-view. I think they're running it over there, and Jim Ross is going to be a part of it, and I think that's awesome. Good for him. Get out there and call some wrestling again. I don't care what Jim Ross is doing. If he's calling wrestling, I'll be watching. And that's a huge score for them. Now, I don't think this is going to be JR's, permanent gig. This probably is just a one-time deal. But just the fact that he's there, the fact that, arguably the voice of professional wrestling, is going to be calling, matches for this brand new promotion, I think is huge for them. And I'm wishing them all the luck in the world as well. I hope Jim Ross kills it. I hope he makes that show 10 times better. And the WWE takes a look at him and is like, oh, we should have never fucking let that guy go. Look at what we have to deal with every Monday night on Raw. Are you guys throwing up as much as I am? My throat is raw from all of the vomit spewing out of my fucking esophagus with these three idiot commentators, Michael Cole, JBL, and Jerry Lawler, who are driving me completely insane every week. There's a rant I'll give you. I try to go this whole time without ranting, but I can't even shut up about this. This pisses me off. I always try to give Michael Cole the benefit of the doubt. I'm a huge Jerry Lawler fan. His history in pro wrestling is unlike any other. And I've also been a big fan of JBL throughout his career. I defended the JBL character when everybody was shitting on him, when everybody hated him as WWE champion after he beat Eddie Guerrero. He had nuclear heat. And I was the one coming out and saying, shut the fuck up. This guy is a great character. He's getting under your skin. That's the whole point. If you're pissed off, he's doing his job, you morons. I was one of the biggest JBL supporters out there, but even I cannot stomach anything, hardly anything that comes out of either of these three guys' mouth throughout the 3 hours of Raw. I want to literally hang myself. I have to shut the volume off. I mean, everything they say is just so retarded. Who the fuck is this Vince, screaming in their headset still to this day, trying to tell them what to say, because he's failing big time. Part of it's the wrestling, part of it's the booking. No matter how good of an announcer you are, sometimes you just can't get shit over. But I think these three guys as a team, their commentary, they're just, they're all in all sorts of different directions. They barely even tell the story. They overword things and they plug the fuck out of everything, and it's just not the way it used to be. They're not calling matches. They're just out there running their fucking mouths and talking up the company, and it drives me crazy. Hate those three fucking guys. So I hope Jim Ross goes off to GFW and has a great show and kills it. What else am I missing? I saw a brief clip of Ricardo Rodriguez and Alberto Del Rio appearing at House of Hardcore. That was pretty cool. Apparently it was a complete surprise, and I saw a little promo they cut. That was great. Fans seemed to really pop hard for that. And that's awesome. Alberto Del Rio, he legitimately seems happy. I've seen him do in like 1 or 2 interviews. Some of you have been posting shit on my Facebook page and stuff, and I've seen what he has said since leaving the WWE, and he just seems like a much happier person for it. I wish him all the luck in the world as well. I have not seen another Lucha Underground show. I did watch their debut episode. I will try to catch myself up on what I have missed. I did like the program a lot, and I did like what they were doing. I don't know if this is something I'm going to be able to follow every single week, because like I said, I don't even follow NXT as much as I should, so it's going to be a little hard for me to keep track of this shit, but I will do my best. And also, I have sketched down on my notes here, Brock, with a question mark. Do we dare get into Brock Lesnar comments? Do we dare get into Brock Lesnar thoughts? After all the shit I've been talking about throughout this commentary, we've barely mentioned that the WWE champion is still sitting on his ass at home, to the point now where it's getting under the fans' skin. And there's a lot of speculation to Brock Lesnar and his future and what the future holds for the WWE title and what exactly they're going to do. Now, here's my problem with all of the big speculating, especially the people that are saying, oh, the WWE is changing their mind. They're going to have to take the title off of him now. He's sitting at home too long. This is not good. It's backfiring on them, whatever. This is one of the situations where I'm going to try to give the WWE the benefit of the doubt. I would think that they already were aware of this before they put the belt on Brock. They had to have known how much the Brock was going to work throughout the rest of the year before they put their title on them at a major pay-per-view on the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. You don't just decide to do that shit the night before. They had to have had something mapped out on paper and a plan for this, to go into WrestleMania. So I say, in my GoodMicWork opinion, that the WWE still stays the course and that John Cena just doesn't upend and squash Brock Lesnar at TLC or whenever the fuck they're going to have this match. I'm not a big fan of Lesnar fighting Cena again, like I've said, but whatever happens, I still want to see Lesnar come out with the belt because they had him beat Undertaker. They had him squash Cena at SummerSlam. He's a champion that's going to hold the title for several months. You don't have a guy that's been established for 10 years beat him for this title. You use Brock Lesnar to get someone else over, and that's where I think Roman Reigns comes in. So I still think the WWE has this plan in mind. Some people argue, well, WWE can just have Cena beat him, and then Cena can drop the title to Roman Reigns. Well, fine if that's what they want to do, but to me it seems pointless. If they're going to give the belt to Roman Reigns anyway, why just not have him beat Brock? Brock's the guy that ended the streak last year, not Cena. To me, Brock makes the much better opponent if anybody is going to be launched. So I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm going to be correct in all of this, and I really don't give a shit about any of the Cena debating. It has nothing to do with him either. I just think that the WWE should keep on track with what they are doing. Yeah, the fans are starting to get pissed at Brock Lesnar, but that might be the point. Fans cheered like crazy when he beat the shit out of Cena. If you keep him off TV long enough, fans might start booing him. Fans might turn on him the way they turned on The Rock when The Rock wasn't around. So maybe the WWE is counting on that to generate some heat for Brock Lesnar going into WrestleMania. But whatever the plans are, I seriously doubt their plan was to give Brock Lesnar the title at SummerSlam, have him defend the belt one time, and then come back in fucking December and drop the belt to John Cena. What a waste. Could you imagine what a waste of a push that was? What a waste of time it would have been to beat the streak and to do what he did to John Cena just to lose it at fucking TLC? No way. As painful as it is, just keep the belt on him until WrestleMania. You are committed now. You can't just change your mind. Because if the WWE did change their mind, they would ruin all of this. So, they're committed, they're invested. You got to go through with the plan. I say stay the course. I say don't make any hasty decisions and don't put the belt on Cena thinking that's going to fix things. That's going to make things worse. The fans are going to freak out. That's why I have to think as a logical person that surely some of these thoughts have to cross the WWE's mind. Surely they have to think of the same things that we are all thinking of. And I think next week should be very telling. I think after we find out if the Authority is still in power or not, we need to find out exactly when this John Cena versus Brock Lesnar match is going to happen. Apparently Brock is booked for a Raw or two in December, so that could mean he could work TLC. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, if they did a ladder match, that means Brock could win and John Cena wouldn't have to be buried or he could be protected or whatever the hell you want to call it. John Cena could technically still lose without losing. He already took the ass-kicking and the pin from Brock at SummerSlam. I doubt he's going to do that again. So a ladder match would be a good way to get out of the rematch and have Brock come out of that as champion. We will have to wait and see. Thank you very much for listening. Enjoy Survivor Series. I will be back up here. It's going to be up in the air. If Survivor Series is a complete letdown and it sucks as bad as it looks like it does on paper, then I probably will not come up and do a reaction video. If the pay-per-view is good, if the Authority loses power, if we have any sort of a big swerve or anything like that, I'll come up and do a reaction video. Otherwise, I will just wait until after Monday Night Raw and we have our direction heading into TLC to come up and do a commentary. In the meantime, join me on Twitter and Facebook during Survivor Series. I'm sure I will have a lot to say. Thank you for the support so far on my 2 Survivor Series related pay-per-view and DVD reviews that I just released. You guys really seem to be enjoying the Rock one. The Survivor Series 1987 review is performing about the way I thought it would. Nothing crazy, but a lot of you seem to enjoy it. And I thought that would be a nice little tribute to Survivor Series because I don't have the energy to do a big 3.5-hour long Survivor Series memories commentary. So I thought reviewing the very first one would be a fitting tribute for, this Sunday's 27th Survivor Series. And as long as I'm talking about this kind of stuff, a little programming note, my next 2 reviews will probably be pay-per-view reviews. I've already got the next one figured out, and I think the one after that I will also make a pay-per-view review just to give you guys a few more of those. And I'm already about 30% done on my second mailbag. It's not going to be a huge one. I'm only going to answer about 10 to 12 questions max in this thing, but it's almost done, and I'll have that up in a couple of weeks as well. So good shit coming to you on the GoodMicWork channel. You guys have a good rest of your week and enjoy Survivor Series, and I'll talk to you in a few days. Peace.